Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can use the TrustedTime API in Flutter for Android to get proper date time. Now you might be wondering that there is already packages for getting date time in Flutter, but the problem with those packages is that suppose if the user changes the device date and time purposefully, then you will get the wrong date and time. In that particular case, you will have to call your own server and get the date time from your server, but that would unnecessarily increase your server cost. I know it would be very minimum, but what if you have millions of users? That would then have a significant impact on your cost. So recently Google has introduced a TrustedTime API. Basically what it does is that it fetches time from Google's server. The user does not require an active internet connection, but there is one caveat: it does require an internet connection when the user boots up the device for the very first time. In that, so suppose I have restarted my device completely and I have not connected to internet, and I opened my app which uses TrustedTime API, then I might get a wrong time. So for that we can have a fallback strategy to use the system.currentTime mails, which is a native Android API, or you can use that intl package, I guess, that also provides date time. I'm not really sure, but you can check on that. But if the most of the users will have connected to internet after booting their device, and behind the scene it fetches time from Google Play services. So even later on, if the user does not have an internet connection, it fetches the right date and time. So yeah, that's what this is, and this is only applicable for Android. So yeah, this is an Android specific tutorial, and we will need to write some native code as well, so I'm warning you at the very start of the tutorial. First I'll show you guys the output. So here you can see I have one simple button to which just do get date, and I'm also here, you can see the time is 9:43 a.m. If I click on get date, here you can see I'm getting 16th Feb 9:43, which is correct. Okay, now what if I just go to the settings app and I search for date time? I'll purposefully manipulate the date time of my device, because I want to show you that even if the user manipulates the date time, we can get the proper date time as well. So instead of 16th Feb, I will make it as 6th Feb. Okay, and I'll also change the time to maybe 8:43. Okay, now again I'll just go back to my app and I'll click on get date again, and here you can see still I'm getting the right time. So yeah, that's the advantage of TrustedTime API. If I click on get date again, here you can see the time is changing and the date remains the same. Again, it is 16th Feb. It is not picking up from the users manipulate date time. So yeah, that's the advantage of this. Hopefully you got the point. Let's see how to do this. So first, as usual, you will have to create a Flutter application, and here at the very top you will have to add this Flutter services import. So make sure you add that as well. Then this is boilerplate code which is present by default. I have just refactored this my homepage widget, so it is a stateful widget which I have created. Then inside the stateful widget, what I have done is that here is a documentation for TrustedTime API as well. If you want, you can follow that as well if you want. So as I was saying, I have just refactored this my homepage widget, and if you want, you can visit this particular URL for the documentation for TrustedTime API. So this is homepage widget, is just a stateful widget. I have created a method channel as well, because we need to communicate with native code. So here you can use whatever name you feel like, but do remember this name, because we need to use that name, same name on native side as well. And here I have just created a variable. So once we get the proper date time from native side, we will just update this variable. And inside the build method, I have just taken a safe area as well as a column as well as a text button, and click of the text button we are invoking a method with the help of a channel called get date time, and here we just get the data, and then we just assign it to our date time variable with the help of set state. And once we have proper date time, we are just displaying it inside our text element. So yeah, that's it. That's how simple it is on the Dart side. Next, you will have to go to the Android side. You will have to first go to app, build.gradle, not this one, sorry. You will have to go to, I think this, yeah, this build.gradle file. Scroll down, Here you will have to add this dependency, and here you will have to add this implementation com.google android gms play services time 16.0.1. so you have to use 16.0.1 or higher version. You can't use below 16.0.1. so keep that in mind, this is necessary. So make sure you add this particular dependency. Then go to src main kotlin main activity.kt. Let me just quickly check. Okay, yeah, seems fine. So first you will have to add all these imports which are necessary. So make sure you just copy all these imports. Here we have created a class called trusted time client accessor, which takes a context and with the which has a create client method, and we are creating a client out of it. So yeah, you can just copy paste this bit of code. This should be present by default for you, but you have to add this curly braces as well because we need to write some code. So here we have created this trusted time client accessor, and as well as this trusted time client, and we have to override this configure flutter engine method. So as soon as that is called, we just initialize our trusted time client accessor. We create a client, and once the client is successful, we just assign it to our trusted time client variable which we have defined over here. And in case of exception, I'm just displaying a toast message as well. But here you can also maybe just get the date time like using the system.current time mail, which I am doing over here just to be on the safer side. Or maybe in case if you get an exception, you can send that exception back to Flutter side, and on the Flutter side maybe you can use intl package. I know this could be a little bit too complex for some of you guys, just to get a date time. But yeah, if you want an accurate date time, this is how you will have to do it. Then here I have created a method channel with the same name which we have defined it on Flutter side, and which has a method called get date time. Then here we just do trusted time client dot compute current unique epoch millis. And in case if this fails for some reason, like the user has not connected to internet after rebooting his device, then for in that particular case I'm using the system.current time millis. But do note that the system.current time millis might give you a wrong date depending on whether the user has changed his, or by mistakenly changed his date time of his device. Or instead of this, maybe you can call your own server API to get date time, that you can do that as well. But I don't want to make this too complex. And then we just convert it to a proper date, and from that date we just use this simple date time format to get it in this particular format. But you can change this format to whatever you feel like, and once we have that date, we send this back to Flutter side. So yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. Feel free to pause the video and just copy this code. But yeah, if you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.